Hi, welcome to Vegan Fresh. I'm your host Jaya, and I'm going to teach you a simple chocolate recipe. Chocolate bliss, macaroons that rock. They rock because, well, first of all, they only require 4 essential ingredients. The rest are optional. All the ingredients are organic. They're from sustainable farms, and they can be bought at your local natural food store or online. The only equipment you really need is a bowl and a wooden paddle spoon. If you have a form for making like a chocolate mold out of silicone, that's wonderful, but not necessary. So let's get started. We're going to start with 2 cups of unsweetened dried coconut. Next, we have 3/4 of a cup cacao. Cacao is the name the ancient Aztecs used for what they called the food of the gods. Today, we call it chocolate. And we're going to put that in. And if you prefer, you can use carob. I personally love carob. It's not a chocolate substitute, but it stands on its own. It's high in calcium and it has its own nutritional profile. The next ingredient is coconut palm sugar. I love coconut palm sugar. I love the smell, the taste, the texture, and the color. So this is a 1/2 cup, and we're going to put that in. Next, we're going to go to the optional ingredients. The first one is cinnamon. I love cinnamon. It's a warm, pungent spice. It's been used as a medicine and as food in many cultures. This is 2 teaspoons. It is optional. Whoops. But I like it, and I try to put it into everything. It's great in savory dishes as well. As much as you can use it because it's such a good medicine. We have optional things like cayenne. That was used by the Aztecs in their cacao drink. And then essential oils. I have blood orange and peppermint and rose absolute. If you're using peppermint, you might want to use 8 or 10 drops. That's pretty strong. But I like a lot of peppermint. I like that taste. But we're not going to use that flavor today. It's pretty overwhelming. So if you're going to use peppermint, that's probably the only flavor you'd want to use. We're going to use some of the blood orange. We'll put it in a little bit later when we put the liquid ingredients in. And then we can go over to some of the superfoods, the vitamin greens, or any kind of green powder can be added. You might want to add 1 or 2 tablespoons. Goji berries is another one you could add. You could grind them first or just add them as is. We're going to use orange. Orange, you would use the zest and not the juice. I just picked this morning off of our tree. And to get the zest from the orange, you want to use a small grater. Anyhow, we're going to take this and we are going to grate the orange. And we just move it around. And we want about maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons. There we go. And we'll just wipe it down. And we can add that, ooh, isn't that a beautiful color up against those flowers? And put it in. And the next thing we're going to use is fresh ginger. Now, ginger is so easy to peel. You just take the edge of a spoon and move down on it, and the skin comes right off. But we're not even going to peel it. We're going to just scrub it with this brush. It's already been scrubbed. And then, again, we're going to take our small grate and grate the ginger. And most of the peel is going to stay on this side of the grater, and what we're going to use is going to fall back here. So we're going to just grate a little bit. That's it. And fortunately, I've already grated some. It's right here. Now, you can either use the juice of the ginger or the whole ginger. If you're going to use the juice of the ginger, you would just put it in the palm of your hand and squeeze it into your mixture. And the reason why you would want to do that, it would give a more subtle, more subtle flavor. When you add the pulp and everything, you're going to get a much more ginger taste. I'm going to add the whole thing. You want about 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of the juice as well. That means you're going to have to grate a lot more to do the juice. But we're going to put about 2 tablespoons in there. And that's all we're going to use. Oh, a pinch of salt. I almost forgot. A pinch. You take your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger, and you go in and you get a pinch. That is officially a pinch of salt. All right. Now we're going to take all these dry ingredients, and of course the ginger and the orange are a little bit wet, but we're going to just stir that in because this way it can really get integrated. Those two wet items can get integrated. And our next ingredient and last ingredient is coconut oil. Below 76 degrees, it will be white and solid. And above 76, it will be a clear liquid. So what you want is it to be still white, but very soft. This is a half a cup of coconut oil. See how spreadable and how easy it is to scoop? That is how you want your coconut oil. And we got it. Now we're going to stir it. And this takes a little bit of time. Oh, well, there's 2 ways to make our chocolate. We can make it in a mold like this one. This is silicone. They're easy to punch out. And what we do is we just take a little bit of the batter and press it in there, right? Very easy to do. Then once it's filled, actually I like to use this paddle spoon. It really works good. You get it in there and push it in. Make sure, you know, there's no air spaces in there. It's pushed in really well. And then put it in the freezer for like 10-15 minutes, or the refrigerator for about a half an hour, and then push them out. It's really easy. The other way is I like to take a tablespoon, because I like exact measurements, or almost exact. I take something like that, and then I take it in my hands and I roll it. And we have our little macaroon. There it is. Now that our chocolate bliss is made, we're going to make a beautiful presentation. These are flowers out of my garden. Roses are wonderful to use, but this is what I have now. These are calendula. They're a cold weather flower. It's still winter here, so I'm just going to scatter some of these on this white cake dish. White is nice to use for presentations because it shows the food up really nicely. And maybe just a little bit of mint in the corners. There we go. Thank you for joining me at Vegan Fresh.